My balls was hot.
They're both exchanging leg kicks. And Gane is just laying it.
Welcome to the Hippie Talk Show, where we talk hip, and today we're going to talk about how Gane got his very secure victory on the last event.
Going into the match, I felt okay. I knew that this match would not be too much for me at all, and I knew the stakes were high, and that was it really.
So Gane, I'm sure you feel really good after that win. No shot you don't get a title after that performance. Tell us, how did you feel going into the match?
I do believe that I'm next in line for the title shot. I'm the only undefeated heavyweight in the top 3, and I'm just outside the top 5 in the overall pound-for-pound list, so I definitely do think that I should be next in line for a title shot.
And also, there's been some beef I've been hearing going around. Let's talk on that ass wall, man.
Well, for Blocks Jones, he's just a salty, wife-beating cheat. He's still yapping about his fraudulent win against me in one championship, where he abused clinch bugs. And he also cheap-shotted when hackers interrupted in the second round. So, it's typical. But he's about three to four fights away from me, or even scratching the top 5 rankings. There's 8 contenders now, and if you think about it, so you can only fight every 2 weeks, 4 fights. Like come on, that's at least 7 weeks. He's not fighting me for a while. He's never going to reach the top 3. He's already ducked Paclay before, and he's going to duck him again. Joshua Callaghan will finish him anyway, and so he's not going to get to this level. And the new updates to the game have nullified clinch spamming, so his play style can't even be used really anymore. So I think it's just over for his career. He's at the end of the road.
So if you win that belt, tell me, how long do you think you'll be actively maintaining it?
I think I'm going to hold the belt for as long as I need to. I'm a smart guy, and I know what I should do in the situation, but only time will tell. And I think that after the George fight, I'm going to defend my title against Paclay. Paclay Till. Unless it's a super precision, and then in that case, I will rematch George. But other than that, in terms of dropping weight, if Blocks Pereira, who's my teammate, was ever to vacate the belt, then I'd definitely be down to go down and fight the best in the division. I already knocked out the current number 2 middleweight contender, Coleman. So why not? I can always do that.
And honestly, I could see you holding that belt for a while.
And for the people who are maybe wondering what I'm talking about, basically, it's going to be on the thumbnail, but there's a certain window when it should be impossible to transition in the clinch. So if you get out of the clinch and you return to the dominant position, there's about a 0.4 second window where the other person can't transition. It's supposed to be balanced, right? So if you escape the top position, you can comfortably rejoin position and then decide what you're going to do next and try and deny or maybe attack. But no, everything, especially early on, every single time I was transitioning out of the clinch, he would instantaneously reverse it. I don't know what it is. Apparently it has been in the game for a long time, but it is technically a bug. It is basically a bug. It shouldn't be possible. It's unbalanced and it doesn't make any sense. Because what's the point of being able to transition if a transition isn't being completed? You know what I mean? So, and I was just pointing that out. You are pretty much bug abusing. That's pretty much the definition of it, is it not? So, and everyone said, "Oh, I'm making excuses." Well, you wouldn't like that to happen to you, and then being embarrassed by it, But obviously, I made a couple of mistakes in that fight, but that was just another thing that kind of messed with me, and then made me just feel worse during it and during the fight. So yeah.
Wow, just a lot of talent coming on in the podcast. Well, that's it for episode 2. Stay tuned as more guests will roll in.
My balls was hot.